So the first topic I wanted to touch on was the warrior method. It was touched on in the lecture, but also in the Raymond A. Winbush text from 2013. Um, and some bullet points that I wrote down about it is high academic and behavioral expectations for the individuals, a strong cultural identity rooted in African heritage, um, centered around discipline, responsibility, and self respect, mentorship by adults that prepare the individuals for adulthood, and leadership development as well. So, some news that I found that relates to Winbush's warrior method from the article is that the U.S. Department of Education apparently has made a decision to stop enforcing the disparate impact standard. Um, Essentially, this was a school policy that helped um, investigate schools that disproportionately discipline black students. So some people say that this gives schools more flexibility in what they can do. Others say it can help promote systemic racism. So a question that I have is, how will this affect the cultural support system for these demographics of individuals if the policies for discipline are are reduced? So how will this affect school systems, discipline system, long term? So secondly, I wanted to talk about growth mindsets. The lecture explains that growth mindsets relate to embracing struggle, being creative, normalizing uniqueness and creativity with your students, being open to change, and encouraging independence. I think that this mindset is very important for students. Just to not have a closed mindset, they need to come into class with a growth mindset, and I think it's very important that as educators, we prepare these individuals for this mindset, and just encouraging them to be creative, independent, normalizing them, each one of them, for how they are and how unique they are. And yeah, I think this is very important for students to learn. So, a piece from the news that I found on growth mindsets was that um, Mississippi has been trying hard to improve their literacy in their schools, and it's been challenging, but they've been working hard to improve this through structured instruction, through literacy coaching, education. Um, it's been working steadily, but there's still difficulties involved, obviously. This sort of touches on Carol Dweck's growth mindset theory. It was briefly touched on in the lecture, but it essentially emphasizes that intelligence can be developed through effective strategies and efforts and persistence. So then a question I have for the growth mindsets is that, how can teachers help students believe that they can improve instead of giving up when things get difficult in class? So lastly, my third topic was cultural capital from the lecture. Cultural capital is described as tangible and intangible resources. Um, they exist in every layer of the ecosystem. They can be mistaken for weaknesses, and then it is a source of strength to access. And then some examples of cultural capital that I noted were folk traditions, music, religious and spiritual traditions, some forms of art, and then languages other than English. So, to connect cultural capital to the news, um, I found just like the use of AI, some individuals have access to this and they can use this to benefit. Some individuals have fast internet, parents with more money. Um, Essentially, this relates to cultural capital because it shows how knowledge, skills, and resources some students have and their families have can affect their success in school while others don't have access to that. So a question that I have for this is, should schools like do more to make sure an even playing field for everyone? Um, like, should they make sure that each student has access to everything that others do, regardless of position or finances, or should they just let it play out how it is?